second.
I'll get the timer back on.
See it falling up already.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Hello, my name is Jacob Parrish, and this is Sports Impact on Relations. When one looks at the topic of sports, they may not think about how it can affect relations in the U.S. This is concerning since there are so many ways sports affect relations between athletes and fans alike. According to The Ohio University, an accredited university of the U.S., diversity in an athletic team leads to greater success. Furthermore, sports can better relations between groups and people by bringing them together and creating a common community. Oppositely, sports can create relations to diminish or become worsened. For example, George Orwell, a well-known and accepted author and journalist, claimed that sports can cause hatred between athletic teams and their fans. Orwell also claimed that sports can cause the winning team to become the alpha dog and diminish the other team. This can create the relations between the teams and the fans that hate the other team. On a separate note, sports can create new relations. The Special Olympics has been creating opportunities for mentally and physically disabled athletes since 1968. This has allowed for the creation of new relations for a new era of athletes. Sports also embrace adversity. When looking at this image from Bill Bamberger, one can see how this basketball goal is overrun with grass and not made of the same materials as other traditional basketball goals. One would also believe that this goal is unusable and unpractical. This goal is in fact usable though. And this goal embraces adversity. And this goal is in an imperfect state. Sports are the same way. Not every sport is filled with bright lights and the perfect structure, as this is. For example, when a team faces another team, many would pursue one to be a winner and one to be a loser without them facing each other. When one makes this assumption, one team is automatically diminished and has to face adversity to overcome the presumptions of loss. Furthermore, this shows that adversity in athletics is a real thing. Many overcome similar adversity, and this can be seen with women's athletics and the Special Olympics. When women also have their place in sports and face their own adversity. An article by the Ohio University claimed that women have been growing the participation in sports by 50% each year. Furthermore, they claim that the increase in women's participation in sports has created greater leaders. This increase in leaders has allowed women to have a growing footstep in the athletic world. According to Adelphi University, an accredited university in New York, the top paid female athletes have been getting an increase in pay over the past few years. The top paid female athletes over the past 10 years. In comparison to their male counterparts, top female athletes still make less than the average male athlete. This can be seen when comparing Serena Williams and any NBA player. She just now started making $223 million according to Adelphi University. The average NBA star is in the range between 8 and 34, but she's the top and they are the average. As Orwell stated, competition can cause hatred. The pay of athletes is a competition and women are losing. This can cause them to despise their male counterparts due to the pay gap. When one is getting paid less than someone else, there can cause a hatred. As previously stated, the Special Olympics provides opportunities for athletes with physical and mental impairments. According to the Special Olympics, throughout their history, they have been bringing people together who would not normally come together. People with different kinds of disabilities, wheelchairs, mental disabilities that I'm not going to state, but many different diverse groups of people competing in the same league. You have people in wheelchairs doing track. You have people who would normally not be able to do shot put for the track and field doing shot put. When thinking about the previous image from Bamberger, the Special Olympics is very similar. They do not look to be the standard athlete. They do not look to be the athletic star in which they are. The Special Olympics looks to change that perception of the people. They look to cut down the grasses and make the special athletes in which they are shine and show through the adversity. This disproves Orwell's argument of hatred. When you look at the Special Olympics, you almost never see a hatred between these groups. This is coming straight from the Special Olympics. They claim that this builds a community, that it brings people together from all different walks of life, not just in the U.S., but all around the world, with over 90% of the Special Olympics participation being outside of the U.S. And this allows for positive relations between each team and athletes in the Special Olympics. There are many ways sports can impact relations. Furthermore, there are ways to build on the sport's impact on relations. Media companies could increase their coverage of women from 4%. That is part of the reason in which they get paid less. They have less media coverage showing the stars that women are in the Women's National Basketball League and other professional sports. Increasing the women's media would also increase their pay, and this would allow women to have similar pay opportunities to men. Additionally, the Special Olympics could increase their services to unique athletes with rare disabilities. There are some disabilities in which they have not been able to reach yet, some mental and cognitive disabilities which prevent them from being an athlete, and they are currently trying to pursue them. Now, with that being said, there are limitations in sports and relations. Media companies choose who they want to cover. They do not have to choose women or men. They decide to choose men for their personal gain. And since the pay is based on views, coverage, and merchandise sales, again, it goes back to whatever the media wants to cover dictates the pay. And there will never be full equality with the pay gap or equity. There won't be full equity. There can be equality, similar pay, but never the same. And lastly, there will always be negative relations between groups unless there is equity, which is unlikely to happen in this athletic field, as I previously stated. In conclusion, sports positively impact relations in the U.S. by bringing people together, but the opposite is also true. Sports can separate people by winning or losing, in Orwell's argument that I stated at the beginning, throughout the pay gap. Overall, sports will continue to have impacts on the relations as they expand and reach more people. Thank you.
All right, you are at 8 minutes and 57 seconds.
Okay, that's good. That's okay.
All right, so let's look at the oral defense questions. Let's see, what information did you need before you began your research, and how did the information shape your research?
So, I needed to know the different groups that could have different relations with each other. So I knew that men and women, I knew the pay gap was something I wanted to talk about, but I needed to find something else to make it broad and make it a larger argument. So I had to find the Special Olympics and I had to search that out. It was recommended to me to look at that, since it was a growing field.
Okay. What additional questions emerged from your research, and why are these questions important?
So, from my research, I didn't go into detail with the Special Olympics and all of their, all the different groups that they have, because they separated by group and different disabilities. And I have like more questions on like what are the more rare and unique kinds of disabilities in which they do not have coverage over, and they don't allow participation in yet. So, yeah, that's all.